So we are a couple of days removed from a crazy, crazy card, but this is not the fight we're going to get, right? We were supposed to get Khamzat Chimaev against Paulo Costa. Paulo Costa ends up having, infection in his elbow, which really, really sucks. A lot of people really underestimate how much of an issue it's going to be. But we're going to actually have Khamzat Chimaev against Kamaru Usman. Usman taking him on in short notice. But for now, I'm going to try to showcase Chimaev to the best of my ability. Going against the Shavkat Rakhmonov. We already have his back. And in the lead up to UFC 5 that is going to be coming out next week upon early access, I will be dropping a fuck ton of tutorials. When I tell y'all about to see the premieres and the lives go crazy, I promise y'all gonna love it. But for right now, we gotta stick to UFC 4. Let the guy work for a bit. Take him down. No, we're not. A little bit weird playing UFC 4, but we'll try to make it work to the best of our ability. Chimaev on UFC 5, his most recent model is pretty much how all those pictures kind of looked before he ended up fighting Kevin Holland in place of Nate Diaz because he decided to miss weight. So Khamzat Chimaev hasn't fought since September 10th of 2022, but we have the issue in which for Kamaru Usman, who is taking the fight on short notice, he still has the issue with traveling to Abu Dhabi in a short amount of time. Still has the issue in which still has the issue in which he's going up to middleweight, making his middleweight debut. If Kamaru Usman defeats Khamzat Chimaev, we have a really, really great chance of seeing him in middleweight, which would be absolutely crazy, as he already has a win over the middleweight champion down at welterweight. So I'm very, very excited to see how this is going to work. Getting some good wrestling going. I'll deny that transition. I think the good thing comes with a newer UFC cycles that we get to get a lot of newer people. So as I've gotten better on my channel with explaining things in detail and trying to make sure you guys not only know the directions for where things are supposed to go, but as well as the specific cues when you guys are on the ground, it's gonna be really fun having to do that, because I've compared my previous videos to my newer ones, and I'm like, damn, y'all really some loyal ones. Because I think it's been about, my first upload was about 5 years ago. 5 years ago, obviously, there was a time I wasn't uploading as much because, school and training and everything of that nature. But you guys have stuck it out with me for quite some time since UFC 3, which is when I started uploading, and I had that one tutorial video go up to like 100k views because I was showing a lot of like high-level counters and everything of that nature that I was doing to in ranked. Speaking of counters, Shavkat Rakhmonov is out of here. He is out like a light. But we're not going to be seeing these mini games in this next game. So I'm going to showcase Chimaev. I think that's going to be it for Chimaev. And I think what I'll do is I'll go and I'll showcase Paulo Costa. And I'll try to have Usman be his own standalone thing, because I have a lot to say about Kamaru Usman. And I know he's one of my favorite fighters. That dude's story is nothing short of incredible. With Chimaev, he also has a lot of questions to answer too. And he is the favorite against Kamaru Usman. He is undoubtedly the favorite. The older man got finished his fight, against Leon Edwards in the 5th round. Then didn't look too much like himself as a part of, Leon Edwards' fantastic game plan and the threat of the high kick knockout. Which Kamaru Usman are we going to see take on Khamzat Chimaev? We're going to have to find out. But I'm going to go and try to load up into another fight. Ideally, we'll get Paulo Costa. So I don't want to go back to welterweight. And if I do end up back in welterweight, we'll see what happens. Alright, this is the fight that got away. The fight that got away from Paulo Costa. I really, really wanted to see this matchup, because with Paulo Costa, if we're talking about, Khamzat Chimaev, his undefeated record, wrestling, coming from I believe he's fighting out of Sweden. His nationality is Russian. He was born in the Chechen Republic and everything of that nature too. But we're not gonna get this takedown. But a lot of people say, okay, some people thought he lost the bout against Gilbert Burns. It was his toughest bout, right? It was his toughest bout. I wasn't mad at the decision or anything like that, and it was a great, incredible bout. Hold his up kick, and then he beat Kevin Holland, right? Submitted him with a Bravo choke. But, you know, he has wins over guys who are currently on the roster. You can't say the same thing about Paulo Costa, even though we just set him down. And by the way, Paulo Costa felt absolutely amazing on the UFC 5 beta. The dude, much smoother. We're going to definitely see a return for Paulo. But Paulo Costa, his most recent wins, he hasn't had a... he took us down. You know, Johnny Hendricks, that was back in 2017. Uriah Hall, back in 2018. Yoel Romero in Bellator now. I think but he might even retire, you know. But that was back in, I think, 2019. Obviously lost to Adesanya in 2020. Then lost to Marvin Vettori in a light heavyweight bout. Which I think we should really get Paulo Costa in light heavyweight. Because why not? He fought there. Had a banger of a fight there. And even though he intentionally missed weight. Because, you know, this guy is just all about controversy. And then he had that fight against Luke Rockhold, which was up at a higher altitude, where the sloppiness of the fight made that fight even more exciting. It actually resulted in Luke getting a buff in his recovery and his health stats. But, you know, he ended up beating Luke Rockhold by decision. Didn't knock him out or anything like that. So, while Paulo Costa stands at a record of 14-2, he still has a lot of stuff to answer. The Yoel fight was his best win. It was his best win. I still have the poster in my room. That was UFC 241, and I remember I wanted Yoel to win, and that fight was hilarious. Just like some moments there where I think Costa drops Yoel, and then Yoel points to the side of the octagon. Costa actually looks, and then it gets clocked and dropped down. Just a lot of memeable moments in that fight. It was just really, really a good fight. But yeah, Costa has some stuff to answer, and it's really disappointing that we're not going to see him this weekend. But that's not his fault, right? You know, you get an infection in training. That's nothing that you can really control. Sicknesses and MMA in training in general are just not good. Somebody like myself included, I know exactly what that feels like. It's a nice little roll through. I know what that feels like. It sucks. It definitely sucks. So when Khamzat Chimaev is out here saying, "Oh, you don't want to fight," and all this other stuff, dude. I get it. You know, you're training, you couldn't wait, but now you have a better opportunity in front of you. You have a chance to take out Kamaru Usman. And you don't have to cut down to welterweight where he usually fights. But I'm excited for that. But for Paulo, he's really good with his body punches. He likes to set up his... Oh, come on! I mean, that knee wouldn't have landed because he attacked my lead leg with a low single, so that knee's not going to land. Ay. Gotta fake that. Nope. Yeah, that's not going to land. You know, you fire off a low single there. It's going to take a lot of conversion for any of that to really work. But we're going to stay on top. But I really would. I wish he could shot like a regular shot and then he could have landed. But Paulo Costa, he does follow like the good blueprint in which he uses a lot of his hooks to circle his opponents into kicks. It's a very common and effective strategy that a lot of fighters do. He has heavy switch body kicks. And he's not somebody who has one punch KO power. Even though he has a very high power rating in the game, a lot of it comes down to attrition. Like, he will wear people out, attacking the body, just throwing, swarming punches, everything like that. And he does a fantastic job. Well, in this fight stat, you know, guys, attention. I remember I was at Buffalo Wild Wings when I first saw Paulo Costa beat Johnny Hendricks. And I remember being by a couple of wrestlers that were like, yeah, Johnny Hendricks, NCAA champ, all that. I'm like, bro, NCAA champ or not, NCAA champ or not, Father Time don't care about your accolades, to be honest with you. Father Time does not care. It's why at a certain point it becomes really difficult to compete with a younger generation who have access to a lot more than what you had, and especially when it comes to striking and jiu-jitsu and everything else that can stop you, and the physicality of Paulo Costa. And Johnny Hendricks fought as hard as he could, but he ended up getting TKO'd in round 2. Then the Uriah Hall fight. What was interesting about the Uriah Hall fight is that that's where we saw Paulo have a hard time dealing with straight punches. And Uriah Hall was doing a fantastic job with his jab, keeping Paulo at the end of the jab, using it to stifle the forward pressure of Paulo Costa. And he was making him work, and he looked like as Uriah Hall does. He looks like a world beater. But Paulo Costa eventually ends up breaking him down. So it's hard to take away what are we going to see from Paulo Costa now. He's obviously not fighting Chimaev. We don't know what it's going to be like for him, because in this case, this is not his fault, right? This is not his fault that he cannot make the fight against Khamzat Chimaev. Same thing with Tomake. Fucking yeah, Jesus. Woo! No footsie for you. Oh, stamina's low. Hey, I appreciate the approach. This is what you gotta do. Oof. I gotta stop throwing the elbow. There we go. Whew. You start swinging them uppercuts. And he hit me with the what? And the no respect. The fuck did I do to you? No respect. Thanks. What a dick. What the hell did I do to you? I didn't do anything to deserve that. What's wrong with you? All I did was punch you a few times. You know, we signed a contract to be here. But I'm thinking of the Uriah Hall fight. It's going to be... No. We going to chop at that leg, my boy. Yeah, kicks serve as a good takedown denial. If you don't want to hold L2R2, you chop out that base leg. You want it? At least he didn't rage quit. Oh, wow. No respect. Te jodiste, mamacuevazo. All right, that was great. That was a good KO. So, yeah, this is going to be the fight that could have been. You know, the fight that could have been. We're just going to keep no respecting each other right now. Showcase Chimaev, showcase Paulo Costa. I'm going to try to showcase Usman sometime this week. And, of course, we have the change in the main event. We have Volkanovski, also on short notice, taking on Islam Makhachev, which you guys can leave your predictions in the chat down there. Y'all already know the vibes. And, of course, also, if you guys didn't realize, we just recently hit 16K, which is great. We've come a long way. So I appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. Expect more UFC 4 and UFC 5 content on the way. Romero 17, I appreciate all of you. I'm out.